what is rentvesting and why there are so many people rentvesting rather than buying a home to live. If you are interested in finding out the answer, this video is for you. Hey, it's Shuai here from Avocado Wealth, where we'll help you to build your family wealth with the right property at the right price. In this video, I'm going to explain what is rentvesting and why people rentvest, which is a benefit or pros, and also what does it take to rentvest, which is the cost. So let's jump into it. Okay, the first question, what is rentvesting? Rentvesting is a real estate strategy for buyers who decided to keep living in a rental property and at the same time they purchase investment real estate to generate rental incomes in order to achieve better financial and/or lifestyle results. For example, Mr. Smith may be rentvesting because he cannot afford the 3-bed house in the city fringe he wanted to live. So Smith decided to rent a 3-bed house in the city fringe, which is a living cost is much lower than owning the same place. Meanwhile, Smith bought a 4-bed house in a suburb, which is generating a good cash flow to support his lifestyle in the city fringe 3-bed house. Another example, Miss Johnson might be rentvesting because she moves homes a lot due to work and family reasons. So it's not economically viable for her to buy and sell the house every time when she moves. Also, Miss Johnson does not want to miss out the wealth can be created with real estate. So she keeps renting in the place that is close to her work and buy investment properties that can keep her in the real estate game. So she could enjoy the capital growth when the market goes up with time. So why people are rentvesting? And what are the benefits or pros of rentvesting? Because there must be something so good so people are willing to live in a rental place and give up their lives in their very own homes. The two examples I just mentioned before kind of explain the why. And if we go deeper, it's fair to say that there are 5 benefits of rentvesting. The first benefit is lifestyle. You can rent where you want to live, even you cannot afford to buy in the same area. Because when you bought your home, you're kind of locked in the area for a long while until you bought your next home. On the contrast, as a rentvestor, you are not locked in a certain area for a very long time. It's really based on your lease contract. So you can move freely as long as the lease contract is ended. And they can even live in a suburb. They cannot afford to buy now because they don't have to invest a big chunk of money to buy the place. The second benefit is less maintenance cost. Because you are a renter, so you are not liable for those property maintenance costs if it's wear and tear, such as hot water system is broken, tap is leaking, or aircon is not working, etc. etc. This would potentially save you a few $1,000s if the problem really comes. The third benefit is that you could enter the real estate game sooner. For example, if you only have $80,000 cash in hand, so you cannot afford the $1 million house that you wanted to buy, but you can use your cash to invest in a $400,000 property that is potentially have a good rental income or capital growth. So you are not left out in the real estate game when the market goes up. And because you're buying investment property, so the potential rental income from the real estate can be calculated as your income, which will increase your loan serviceability. This will bring you extra borrowing power in case you needed the borrowing power to buy a property that is just over your budget. Besides, when you buy an investment property, you have less emotion attached with it. So you will make a decision much quicker than when you buy your home, which you have a lot of emotion to attach with it. The fourth benefit is tax deduction, which means you can get more bucks back from the taxman. You might be surprised that all the cost you're paying for your home is after-tax dollars. Let's say you're paying 30% tax rate. So if your annual salary is $100,000, $30,000 will go to the tax office. If you own a home Then you need to use this $70,000 to pay your mortgage interest, to pay your maintenance cost, etc. Let's say your total home ongoing cost is $30,000. Then you will only have $70,000 minus $30,000 equal to $40,000 in your hand. So $40,000 is how much you left in your pocket after you're paying the tax and your home ongoing costs. On the other hand, if you have the same property as an investment, then all the costs associated with the investment property is tax deductible, which means you're paying all the costs before the taxman taking money from you. So if we use the same number, you will pay your property ongoing cost first. So $100,000 minus $30,000 ongoing cost, which means you have $70,000 left before tax. And you pay 30% of this $70,000, which is $24,000 to the taxman. So you will have $70,000 minus $24,000 equal to $46,000 left in your pocket for other living expenses. That's $6,000 more than if you own the same property as your home. Please be aware this is a simplified example and there are some factors that are not considered in this calculation, but the concept is the same. If you have more questions, please comment below or ask your accountant for detailed answers. And by the way, just give a bit of disclaimer here, I'm not an accountant or financial advisor. So the content here is only for general information. You are encouraged to seek independent advice from your accountant or financial planner before you're making any decisions. And the final benefit of rentvesting is you can save money faster. So you could start your next real estate investment sooner than others. This is quite straightforward because you are paying less tax, which means you're saving more money in your pocket. Of course, you will save money faster, and therefore you have your deposit ready sooner for your next property. Okay, so far, rentvesting sounds so good, but is there any catch with it? So what does it take? Or in other words, what is the cons of rentvesting? There are 5 cons of rentvesting. Number 1, you will have to face renting problems. For example, because your renting is not your home, so you cannot do any changes before you have the permission from the landlord. Even small things, such as putting a nail in a wall, yes, you need to get permission to do so. Aside from this, you will face inconvenience of regular inspections from the agent, because property managers have to make sure that you are looking after the property, so they often will need to inspect the property every 3 months. And some people does not like the life being interrupted every 3 months. And what's more, because you're renting, you're always in the risk that your landlord is not going to renew your lease. This does not happen often if you're a good tenant, and landlord normally will prefer a long-term good tenant. But you will never know what will happen to the landlord, so they have to get the property back and not willing to renew. And then you have to look for another property again, which will bring you more problems like searching for a new rental home, moving house, and dealing with new property managers. Number 2, you may lose your first home owner grant access if you are rentvesting. In some states, for example New South Wales, if you ever own a property in Australia, you will lose your eligibility to apply first home owner grant. Some other states, like Western Australia, is still quite generous with first home owner grant access, as long as you didn't own a home for your own residence. But you will never know when this rule will be changed. Number 3, you will need to pay more attention on your cash flow, because you're paying both your renting cost and your investment property interests. When you're renting a place, you have to pay the rent all the time. But when you have an investment property, it's not 100% guaranteed you will receive a rent, because your investment property might be vacant for a few weeks between tenants. And you will have a period that you're paying your rental cost, and at the same time, because your investment property is vacant, no tenant is paying the property interest for you, so you have to pay that as well by yourself. So you're paying both costs at the same time, and therefore your cash flows might be tight. Number 4, you will not have a capital gain tax exemption. Let's make a simple calculation here. If you lived in a home that you purchased 10 years ago for $500,000 and 10 years later you sold it for $900,000. So when you sold your property, you will make $400,000 capital gain. And because the capital gain exemptions for your home, you will receive $400,000 cash in your pocket. But when you're selling an investment property for the same money, you will not receive $400,000 in your pocket. Even you own the investment property for more than 12 months, you will still need to pay 50% of the capital gain tax. So in this case, the capital gain tax is liable based on $400,000 times 50%, which is $200,000. So you have to pay capital gain tax based on $200,000. If your income tax rate is on the 45% bracket, then the capital gain tax you need to pay is $200,000 times 45%, which is $90,000. So $90,000 you have to pay to the taxman. Number 5, you have to delay your dream. Owning a home is part of Australian dream, but being a investor means you have to delay your Australian dream to own your own home, and that is not an easy decision for many Aussies to make. So who would benefit from reinvesting and who is not suitable for this strategy? If you're not emotionally attached to own your home right now and are willing to deal with the hassle of renting a property, rentvesting might be a good strategy for you. But if you can't overcome the emotional part of owning your own roof, then this strategy might not be the best for you. And it seems quite clear that rentvesting can have a better financial result. This is often true when the renting cost is lower than the home owning costs. But if you want to live in an area that renting cost is higher than the home owning cost for the same property, you might be better off just own the property rather than rent the property. Please be warned, this is general information because everyone's situation is different. If you want to find out what is the best real estate strategy for you, please contact me on avocadovip.com and book an obligation-free consultation to find out if we can help you to sort out the best strategy for you and help you to buy your next property. If you do like this video, please hit the like button and comment below. And I will share more insights and tips of real estate investment in the following weeks. So if you don't want to miss out the latest content, please subscribe and ring the bell. So when the latest content is coming, you will get notified. And I will see you in next week.